College athletes finally getting the rights in 2021 to profit from their name, image, and likeness, or NIL. And the move creating a flurry of activity. NCAA athletes have since partnered with big brands like Gatorade and Nike, and they can make over $4,000 on average per agreement for a multi-activity endorsement, or $3,000 per social media post. Well, many of these athletes are seeing big money for the first time. How can they handle their finances and make sure that they're setting themselves up for success? A good question that we all face, of course, under a scenario of coming into money. So joining me now is Nicole Pullen-Ross, head of Goldman Sachs Sports and Entertainment Solutions. Nicole, thank you so much for coming on the show. I know your team actually is advising professional athletes in the NFL, the NBA, and more. How do you typically work with athletes to make sure that their finances are managed properly?
Thank you very much for having me, and it's such an important conversation. Our clients come to us incredibly successful. They are incredibly wealthy or on their way to being incredibly wealthy after having some success, and they come to us to grow. And that means a lot of different things for our clients. In almost every situation, it means protecting and growing their wealth for themselves as well as for their future generations. They also might want to come to us to grow other aspects that they're passionate about, whether it be their communities or other areas where they have philanthropic interest. They also might want to grow their careers or their second careers, and they find value in the access to our network around the world. And so they come to Goldman Sachs in a partnership to help them grow, whether they're entrepreneurs, they work behind the camera, in front of the camera, on a court or on a field or on a stage. It is our job to help them achieve their objectives, whatever they might be.
Nicole, let me ask you this. Are you working with any college athletes now with the new NIL laws, with the ability, right, for some of these athletes to make big money while in college?
We've been very fortunate to be engaged with some organizations, schools, as well as individual athletes as well. And it's such a privilege to be able to share perspective and to provide education, which is the most important skill that's needed to help navigate some of these questions. It's an interesting environment, an interesting backdrop for young athletes to navigate. And so we're privileged to be able to help them think through some of the decisions they have.
What are the options that these young athletes have? Investing in the stock market clearly would be one option, Nicole. Real estate, perhaps cryptocurrencies or some newer innovative technologies. What is the suite of options that you walk them through?
It really is anchored on the risk that they're able to take and willing to take. For many young athletes, they're very focused on the interesting areas of growth. Our role is to really help them think through risk management. And so the options that our clients have are very significant, and they range from the very conservative to the higher growth oriented investments, like you said, cryptocurrency, investing in private companies, lots of things on that higher risk end of the spectrum. And so we work with our clients to find the right balance, to find the right diversification. Some clients come to us with the view of being very conservatively positioned, which is not necessarily the best answer when inflation is rising the way it is. Some want to have exposure to a lot of growth, which is appropriate, but also we need to find the right mix. And so our job is to think about the vast array of investment opportunities available to them and make sure that we get that mix just right.
As someone who tracks clearly this industry closely, you follow the money, you follow the dollars and cents. How big of a game changer is NIL? How much money could some of these athletes make, Nicole, that you are helping them to manage?
It varies significantly. We have seen situations, and you had some of them on the screen, in terms of wealth that is north of $1 million. And you gave another example where athletes are being paid several $1,000s for various posts. So we're at the very beginning. I think there are a lot of unanswered questions around where this opportunity will lead over time. I am extremely happy that the athletes who are so instrumental and influential are having the opportunity to start early in terms of reaping the rewards of those benefits. But we've got a long way to go in terms of understanding how this will play out over time.
All right, Nicole Pullen-Ross, head of Goldman Sachs Sports and Entertainment Solutions. Nicole, thanks again for taking the time. A fascinating conversation.